Don't mind me walking around. It's a holiday weekend. Is anybody home? We'll see. I know I was just here a couple of days ago, but something's been going on for a couple of days that I have not quite been able to put my energetic finger on because there are so many distractions and so many disruptions. So, this video title really should be Distractions and Disruptions, but it won't be because that's not the gist of it. I disappeared and then I reappeared. How's everybody doing? There's no one here. So I may be making this video alone, and I'm fine with that. Hold on 1 second here. Someone's home. Lights are on and someone's home. And let's see if I can guess who it is. Oh, too late. I looked. Hi, Terrell. How are you doing? I was going to go with you or, oh, it's Tina. Hi, Tina. How are you doing? Terrell, as always, it's morning for you and evening for me. There's two people here, but YouTube says one person is here. So I know it's a holiday weekend, so why am I here? The energy right now, it's been this way for, I would say, since last Wednesday, approximately. In the middle of the city here, you could hear a pin drop, and I live on the second busiest street in my neighborhood. And it's been the most bizarre thing because the cars have been going 25 miles an hour and staying evenly spaced. And on my street, that just never happens. Yes, Terrell, good morning. Good morning to you and good evening to some of us. And I think it might be morning for Tina as well. And I am good. How are you, Tina? The Tina and Tina show. Okay, we got Tina and we've got Tina here. So let's get this party started. I'm sure there are lots of people partying and hanging out with family and doing all that holiday stuff. There's a grill out currently in my building. They were threatening to watch me from outside, and I said, please don't do me any favors. So, the reason that I'm here right now, as I talked about in my last video, the disruptive energy that is going on, but I couldn't quite put my finger on what was agitating people in such a massive, massive way. So there might be a word for this scientifically, or maybe there is no such thing scientifically. I'm not sure. And you guys know how much I love science. So here goes my explanation of what initially I was hearing it, and then I started seeing it. There is what I can only describe as a quaking going on in our sector of the universe. So if anybody follows Dutchanese or any other cool person like that takes the time not to just give earthquake reports, but talks about the science of it, you will know that when we have solar energy and CMEs, coronal mass ejections, sunspots, all kinds of things. That affects the core of the earth and then radiates back out into the tectonic plates and causes earthquakes. I'm pretty sure most of you know this. What I saw today, I have no idea if there's a word for this or not. Um, but the planets themselves are, if I could describe, like a shaking or like a bouncing. So imagine you've taken a beach ball or a basketball or something and you're dribbling right on the ground, and that ball is kind of gyrating side to side, right? Initially, I heard it and then I saw that that was what is happening. 555. Universal and personal change on an unparalleled level. So, quaking planetary bodies within our sector of the universe coming in from some warp speed, omniversal flood of energy. And I apologize to you that I cannot do any better than that, but that's where we are right now. So, quaking planetary bodies within our sector of the universe coming from a what I can only describe as a warp speed, omniversal flood of energy. So, if anybody follows astrology at all, you'll know different planets represent different things. Like Venus is the representation of beauty and grace and an enjoyment of all things beautiful and aesthetic. It's about love, it's about relationships. Mars is about struggle, it's about war, it's about dominion, it's about power. So each planet has something that it represents. And when we have conjunctions and trines and full moons and all these things, whatever is next to or whatever those affecting energies are going to be the sector of energy and how it affects us and what we're going through. With what I saw today, we're not just talking about love and relationship energy coming from Venus, or the Venusian energy of surrounding yourself with a beautifully aesthetic things, or the energy of war coming from Mars or power struggles. So, what we generally would be looking at is an astrological alignment and how that planetary movement would affect us. What we have right now is every planetary body within our sector of the universe shaking or bouncing or kind of dribbling like a basketball. So, each planetary energy will be shaking up each particular sector in our life. I hope that makes sense. So there's some sort of, I don't know what to call it. What it looks like is maybe there's, oh, to put this into words. Think about a dam, a really large dam that is going through multiple bodies of water. Maybe that's a good way to say it. If you have a dam, you have a certain amount of water, but also energetically it's being held back. So omniversally, so we go universe, multiverse, omniverse, all that is. Omniversal, there is some sort of what I can only describe as a dam or wall of energetic frequency that has been let go of. I'm using the expression or the verbiage of dam because I can't think of any other way to express to you what I heard and what I saw. Now, it seemed like last week around Wednesday, this energy started to amass into that wall. So, Wednesday, Thursday, it started on Thursday here that it became so quiet in the middle of the city, very close to downtown Cincinnati, where I live, just a couple miles from. You could hear a pin drop at rush hour. And I've lived in this building almost 3 years and I've never experienced anything like that. So, quaking planetary bodies within our sector of the universe coming in from this wall of energy that was dammed up or held back, or I just don't know any better use of verbiage in this instance. Um, so that got let go of. Um, so what I heard and what I saw was it started maybe on Tuesday or Wednesday and it got really quiet. If you think about damming up a large body of water, right? Everything past that point of the dam would become extremely, extremely quiet. And then sometime around, I would say Saturday night to maybe into Sunday morning, this wall of energy, this dam of energy was completely let go of. So, how this is affecting us is one, every planet that has a very specific energy is shaking. So, let's say there's something in your life, Mars energy, that you are at war with, okay, whatever it is, and it's going to be a piece of your consciousness. What are you at war with within your consciousness, like your belief system or belief systems or indoctrinated education? So whatever you're at war with internally, hello Susan Ferguson, aka Queen Star Sophia, whatever you're at war with, that Mars energy, that shaking, the reason for that energetic wall and the reason for the letting go. And this feels to me like everything else, partially cyclical, but also partially divine intervention. So, this quaking, personally for you, in the Mars energy would be about anything that you are in a power struggle about within yourself, within your relationships, within your connections to other people, within your job, anything that is surrounded around that war energy. Every planet has a different energy and every planet is shaking. And this is happening. It feels very much like divine intervention. And the quaking is causing from each planet a shakeup in our consciousness in the sector that that particular planet gives energy or gives credence to the different aspects of our life. The planets look like, when I saw it today, instead of the norm, which is a solar body, a sun, central sun, grand central sun, will send an energy, it goes to the core of the planet and ricochets back out. That is how I have always seen it. What I'm seeing now is very, very different from that. This energy, it's almost, we'll go back to the dam analogy again because it's the only thing I can think of. If you let a dam out, you know the kind of energy and the kind of force that it's going to push downstream. So it's almost like this omniversal divine intervention, this omniversal let go of built up energy is shaking our consciousness within every sector of our life according to what planet that is. Now, instead of seeing this the way I normally see this, which is there is a solar body that's causing an energy to come to the core and radiate back out, which causes then earthquakes on the tectonic plates. This energy is so strong that it's actually shaking the outside of every planet and then working its way in and then coming out as an earthquake. So it's like an internal and external earthquake simultaneously. Now, this is nothing to be afraid of. I mean, it's definitely going to shake the tectonic plates. I'm guessing 48 to 72 hours would be my feeling on that. I'm sure that it has already started, but um, I can feel that it's greatly picking up. So the planets are trembling like there's an all over earthquake, which, if you look at that from a scientific view, when you're shaking something, you're agitating it. So you may notice that people seem to be very, very agitated right now. This movement, this shaking, this quaking is being felt and perceived as an agitation within the physical body because the earth is shaking. you know, the physical body of Mother Earth is shaking, therefore, the physical body of our Earth is also shaking. Okay, and this will have physical effects as far as our weather, but right now, what I'm really speaking about is our consciousness. So, whatever the energy of struggle has been to change, whether that's simply dropping a belief system, um, you know, leaving a tumultuous situation, whatever it is, this energy is pushing us and shaking us so that we can let go of whatever it is that there is an internal fear about letting go. Yes, I know. Sorry, Susan. I called you by name, didn't I? I'm fired. See you later. So, everything that you're currently struggling with or have been struggling with within your consciousness, like, let's say you no longer believe in something, but in the outward world you're still pretending or portraying or playing the part of someone who still believes in that thing, or someone who's still okay with the world being the way it is in whatever sector it is. So, this agitation, this movement, this shaking, this quaking is felt and perceived as agitation. Now, to people who have little to no understanding about how earthquakes and solar events affect humanity, they are feeling extremely stirred up and agitated. Now, even as a person who knows what the stirring is or knows what the agitation is, it can still be alarming, right? It can still be anxiety. Anxiety normally in a situation is, I have to give a public speech, or I have to take a driver's license, or I have to take a test. So I feel nervous, and that nervousness shakes the center of my body. And then, we have like an anxiety. So when we have to take a test, or, take a driver's license, or do public speaking, we may become nervous, and then it shakes our insides, right? It shakes us internally. This works the opposite. So while the planet is shaking and the energy of the other planets and whatever their corresponding energetic relationship to our life is shaking simultaneously, that means that the shaking is perceived as agitation without a reason. So, say you have, hundreds of thousands of people that feel stress and anxiety. They feel an agitation, but they don't know that it's coming from solar energy. They don't know that it's coming from omniversal energy or a planetary quaking. So there may be a lot of people around you that are looking at 3D situations, and they may come up with things absolutely out of nowhere. Like, someone doesn't like me, or, I think my spouse is cheating on me, or they're going to try to find a reason, because as a human, when we have anxiety, we get anxiety because we're anxious or nervous or excited or whatever about something. But the thing is, because this is coming in reverse and causing an anxiety first, there's going to be a huge group of people looking around for a source of that agitation, and they don't know what's going on. So they're going to try to pinpoint it to some scenario in their life. Now, the biggest thing about this right now, and I know most of you are hyper aware of this. When energy fluctuations come in, you will within a couple hours feel, tired, dizzy, all kinds of things like that, and you may lay down and take a rest or shut off all the distractions. You may shut off your television, shut off your phone, your computer, whatever, and meditate or take a walk or do something, because you know that this energetic wall, this frequency, is bringing with it, for lack of a better term, a data dump, if you will. So there's a huge data dump that is coming with this. Now, I'm seeing the reaction in people around me mostly in one way, but there is one person that I've been speaking to recently that perceived this, even though she didn't verbally express this to me when she was telling me a story. My realization was that she was experiencing this energetic wall the same way I was experiencing it. So when I start to hear noise, when there's solar stuff coming in, or there's some energetic change, or some telepathic communication, or something like that, I immediately go somewhere quiet, or I rest, or meditate, or walk, or go within in some way, form, or fashion, so that I can hear it, decipher it, and acclimate to what's going on. Now, normally people don't have a problem with me doing this, but this has been very different, and it's been very hard to be around the majority of the people that I'm normally around, because half of the population is reacting completely the opposite. So there are some people that perhaps don't feel this at all. But okay, so on the first wave, here's what I noticed. Okay, and so I mean the first wave of ascension, you all that have been awake for quite some time. Within the first wave, oh, something's here. Let me be quiet. Let me listen to what that something is. The largest part of the population, however, is doing the exact opposite. And these interruptions, these agitations, are making people want to constantly interrupt. I don't think there's a single person in almost a week that I've talked to that hasn't cut me off 10 times in a conversation. Distortion, interruption, and drowning out the message. So while there's a large group of people that know this energy comes with the data dump, and they're quieting down in whatever way works for them, so they can acclimate to and assimilate to this data dump, this information that is this broadcast frequency that's bouncing throughout these 13 waves that I talked about in the last video. So while I myself and one other person that I've talked to are being extra quiet, less music, less interruptions, way less phone calls, less social media, less texting, less electronics, and less stimulation across the board, here's what I've noticed with the rest of the population. Fun times. Really fun times. Note the extra large scoop of sarcasm in that one. Okay, so while I am, and many of you are, internally quieting to assimilate to this data dump, there's a huge amount of people on this planet that feel the shaking, they feel the quaking, and since they have no idea what it is, and it's causing so much nervous energy, they're doing what people do with nervous energy. Think about, like, if you're waiting for someone at the hospital, or you're waiting for a plane to arrive, to meet someone, you're going to be anxious, you're going to be nervous. Most people are going to find something to do. Like, let's say you're waiting in the airport to meet someone for the first time. You may be so nervous. Maybe you've got a book to read, or you're scrolling social media just to pass the time, so that you can kind of like calm down your excitement just a little bit. So this large group of people that has no idea energetically what is happening, um, one is drowning out the message. So, what I've noticed within this large sector or this large group of people is that they're making every concerted effort within them because they don't know what this shaking or quaking or nervous energy is about. They don't want a single moment of silence. They may be going from watching TV to listening to music to scrolling on their phone. They could even be doing all three things at the same time because it's creating a lot of nervous energy. So for me, I know when a really fast paced energy comes in, it stimulates the cells of the body and it can mimic anxiety because there's so much stimulation within you. So one group is quietly trying to assimilate to what's going on to decipher that data dump. And I've never ever seen this many people in an energetic occurrence trying to drown out the message. Now, maybe if they knew this was a data dump, if there was some kind of message that was coming with this energy, they wouldn't be doing it. Um, but they are drowning out the message with constant noise and constant busyness. So it's been hard for me and the other person I spoke to because the people around you want to just, even when they're talking to you, they don't want to stop talking. It's almost like they're afraid of the silence because there's so much anxiety that's coming with this wall of energy. And when I say anxiety, I just mean an internal shaking of Earth and all of our planetary bodies and this sector of the universe is causing an internal shake or quake within us. And that's making people so incredibly nervous that they just either, like I said, want to constantly talk or listen to, they don't want to have any silence. They cannot seem to let this, um, it's almost like they know it's something, but they can't put their finger on it. Now, a couple of the people that I have talked to that are in this energy of wanting to be singing or talking or listening or typing or scrolling and just not being able to chill out at all, are even on the second wave. Okay. So right now, my limited experience with the first wave has just been a mere anxiety or a mere agitation. I'm not around and don't speak to. Part of it is I've been working almost every single day. So I'm not exposed to a whole lot of people on the second wave, but the very few people on the second wave that I have been connected to, perhaps without the understanding of what is happening, they are trying to drown something out because, when you feel anxious or you feel like you have this gut reaction or maybe you feel like you're psychically connected to some sort of disruption, but you don't realize that it's a positive change coming. And so therefore you're trying to drown it out. Now, the easiest, best way that I can describe this energy is like if I walked up to you and started telling you something you didn't want to hear, and you went, nah, 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 I'm not gonna listen to you, like a 5-year-old. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing. And I'm not saying everybody because I'm saying my connection to the second wave has been very, very limited because I'm working so much. So I'm seeing perhaps more of the third wave out and about. And then most of you I haven't talked to in weeks because I've been working so much. It's been even finding the time after doing that kind of work out in the sun for 6 hours has kind of been a lot. I come home and I'm starving and I'm filthy and I want to sleep, basically. So things have been extremely, extremely physical to me. Now, we talk about this, and I've been talking about this for 2 years. The more you exercise, the easier you acclimate. So I'll ask you, first of all, if you're exercising. But then I will also tell you that I do yoga and qigong and hula hooping almost every day. I rarely take a break from any of that. And then I go do physical labor outside. And then I come home and work in my yards. I'm trying to produce more food and stuff this year. And even having said that and have been saying that for 2 years, I'm still experiencing a massive amount of shaking, a massive amount of um, agitation personally, even with all that exercise, all that outdoor time, all of that everything. So do not give yourself a hard time if you know you're walking and meditating and moving your body and having some agitation right now. So the more people that you're around that don't understand that the agitation is bringing perhaps with it this major gift, this flipping around of whatever has been a struggle for you for the last 18 months. And remember, we're almost at the point of north node, south node switching. This is a north node and south node. It's about to happen. So when that happens, that is a shift. I've talked about this a couple of times in the last several months. So I don't want to go back over that, or this will be incredibly long, like every video I've been making lately. However, the switching of the north and south node from one place, and if you haven't seen those videos, go back to that maybe, but we're moving into a new energy. So this energetic wall coming in is saying, okay, Tina, this energy is about to really shift. What was the focus on before in the old energy, and what's the new direction? And that is about to shift. So part of this divine intervention and this cyclical energy is saying, what is a struggle in your life that you have control over? Because we have struggles sometimes that we don't have control or complete control over, but many things within our life that are a struggle within our jobs and our relationships, dynamics, and within our family, we do have control over. So very interesting that this energy comes in just a mere couple of weeks before we switch over on the nodal points, and then we stay on these nodal points for another 18 months. Whatever is not working for you, whatever is conflictual in your life for you, this wave, this dam of water, emotions, everything is asking you, do you want to let go of this now? Are you ready to let go of this now? It's an absolute time to make a judgment about the people, places, and things in our lives. Now, I've been talking about this a lot, but the more the energy flow amps up and the more divine intervention we get, the more Tina and all of you are asked to, okay, you've been thinking about ditching this, you've been feeling like ditching this or starting this or going in a new direction or taking on a new endeavor, a new lover, or new geographical location, whatever it is for you, this energy is pushing you to say, it's in your hands. And anything that's conflictual in your life, you have the power to change that dynamic. But you must decide personally for you, what is victory for me? What is achievement for me? What is success for me? Not what is success for Tina? What is success for my parents? What is success for the outside world? But what does success mean to me? Make that judgment. What does success, a successful, beautiful life look like, feel like, taste like, smell like to me? And then I have to reverse all conflictual people, places, things, and energies that don't go any longer with the judgment that I've made on myself and my life. Now, I will tell you in this energy that have found myself in this last week being more judgmental of other people's words and actions as well. And I keep catching myself like, So when someone, and I don't, not saying anything like verbally to people about their choices, okay, but every time someone removes a tree or removes a plant or removes a shrub from a property where I'm working, I try my very best to take it to somebody else that wants it, because I can't stand, as you already know from my witness relocation program, from bugs, to kill bugs or to kill sentient life. So I always try to take it to another location. And I was at a job today where I was trying my very best to shovel out a shrub that had been there for 4 or 5 years. And I was rocking on the shovel for 5 minutes and the sucker wasn't budging. So I decided to Google what the root system looked like. And the person that I was working for was working with me and came out with the chainsaw after I gave it a nice little haircut and told it I was giving it a new home on a farm somewhere. She came out with the chainsaw and stuck the chainsaw down into the ground and tore that thing out. And I was just about to be in tears. And I found myself just wanting to say, please, please, don't do it. I was and I didn't say anything. I mean, you do what you can do. Not everything can be saved all the time. I realize that, but it was heartbreaking for me. And I found myself in the last 5 days being way more internally judgmental to people than I normally am. And today I caught myself and had to tell myself several times to not judge the situation of what was happening. The trees were losing their life in front of my eyes, and it was so hard for me. So we have to decide not only what is the decision I've made, what have I put to rest in my life that I want to bring back? What have I kept perpetually staying in or doing or being a part of that I don't want? You have to make that judgment and decide what is victory and achievement and success to you, because victory and achievement and success to me today was getting these 6 bushes out and getting them to a farm where they could continue their life and not watch them being murdered with a chainsaw in front of me. It was very hard for me to deal with, but it's a very fine line. And when I make the judgment about what I need to bring back into my life, people, places, and things, and also what needs to go, I have to realize that you, the other person in that relationship, may not feel the same way about me. You may not feel the same way about saving that bush, and try to keep the judgment and know that what is a victory, success, and achievement to me, once I've made that judgment, is not necessarily a victory, success, or achievement for the person we're working with, or the person in our family dynamics, or the person that we're living with. And that's really difficult. And that's why this, on an energetic level, on an etheric level, but really when we're talking here about your spiritual journey, you have to be able to separate what is my judgment, what is my victory, my success about my new direction, and what I no longer want to participate in, and keep that separate from the people that we are working with or working for. Now, I will tell you that I normally don't work for people that choose to, well, as you know, I don't work for people who use chemicals or Roundup or anything like that. And I normally work for people who, when something is taken out, they're happy with it going to a good home. So um, today it happened quicker than I could actually do anything about. But what I'm saying is, we have to know that our victory is not the same as somebody else's victory. But the reason for this shaking and quaking, this wall of energy, if you will, this omniversal flood of energy that's coming in at a warp speed, is so that it can assist you, so that it can grant you the gift of divine intervention, so that you can turn anything that is a struggle or an obstacle, upside down, so that you can reverse it. And a lot of times we do want to hold on to things for reasons that are not heart centered, but this energy is making it very difficult to do so. Um, and I don't, this is not a fear conversation, but do be really careful and really mindful about what I'm saying about a certain part of the population drowning out the message, which is, you know, that's again me making a judgment on them, right, about victory and success. But the reason that I'm saying that is some people, like I said, are going to want to drown out the message or drown out the energy because it's the unknown, and the unknown makes people feel fear. So, a large part of the people in the state of constant noise or constant busyness or whatever it is, but the other part of the population that has not even assimilated to there's something going on that I need to cover up, that I need to, I'm not listening to you, I'm not listening to this kind of thing, is the group of people with zero awareness about a planetary shift or a spiritual journey. They don't know where these thoughts are coming from. They don't know where maybe the dangerous attitude or the dangerous feelings are coming from. And the reason I'm saying to be aware that this shaking is causing a quaking internally with people is they have an extremely short fuse. So be careful. When I say be careful, I don't think that, and I don't feel that if you're minding your own business, you're going to have any issue at all. Um, but for instance, if you're in the car and someone comes, rushing at you in their in your lane, right, coming right at you. This happened to me the other day, right? Swerve and take off going as fast as I can. Not screaming, not honking, not getting out and saying, "What the hell is going on with you?" Because recognize that that person is already agitated and stay out of it. One of the neighbors in the building had a scenario where she was uh, at the gas station the other day, and somebody just got like verbally abusive with her out of nowhere, didn't even know the person or anything. So, um, our little corner store here, on my way to work on Saturday, you drove by it moments before it happened. There was a shootout a block and a half from my house. So I'm saying to you, and I'm not doing this and saying for you to be in fear. I'm saying when you see these people, I'm giving you awareness of what that is. They're stressed out, they're strung out and stressed out, possibly. When that energy comes, people tend to turn to drugs and alcohol or other kind of behaviors that make them even more aloof or more unaware, trying to numb this, you know, energy that's going on, not knowing what it is. So the only reason that I'm telling you this is I'm saying if someone is agitated at you or yelling at you or riding on your bumper on the car, or coming at you on the highway, do not engage, because what is happening is this energetic wall is pushing a small part of the population into what I can only describe as an absolute loose cannon. So do not engage with people, with strangers who are experiencing road rage or, in our neighborhood's case, I guess, store rage or whatever. I walk past that store every single day. So that was um, a little bit scary to me. I haven't walked past it since that happened. Um, but anyway, be aware that there's a large part of the population hearing something and feeling something and wanting to block it out with social media, constant movies, constant music, constant nonstop chatter. Um, and so that's part of it. There's a part of the energy that's being felt by a group that has no idea what it is. And I would say, you know, as always, stay in your high vibration, be yourself, but do not engage in people's negativity because they have no idea what it is and they're looking for something to connect or pinpoint it on within the third dimension. Okay, so if you get mouthy with someone, even though it has nothing to do with you, they will then pinpoint that to you. So do not engage. Yes. Let's all go to the woods. I agree with you, Susan. So the other thing is the part of the planetary consciousness within these 13 waves that wants to drown out that message may also be making a very avid attempt at interrupting you, um, agitating you. And this is not intentional. It's totally not intentional. They just don't, they know there's something going on in the energy, but since they cannot read the energy and they're not sure what it is, they just want to have that constant distraction. So if you're a friend or a family member or a coworker with this person, they may want to incessantly, nonstop talk to you or whatever. Distractions, distractions, distractions. Okay. It's been very, very hard for me in the last several days to just say no. No music, no talking, no movies, no, whatever, because I need to hear the message. And I'm almost to the point, if I didn't have so much work right now, I would um, go camp or do what I maybe did last time, which was go stay at someone else's house um, out of the city because it's pretty strong. It's very, very strong. I should say pretty strong. Quaking planetary bodies within our sector of the universe are being affected by this warp speed, omniversal, energetic push that is asking you to make a judgment on what is achievement, what is success to you. This has been a long and weary warrior like battle for so many of us in so many areas and sectors of our lives. So it's not the time to let people who don't understand the energy be a constant distraction, and find some balance. I don't mean to cut people off, totally. And to you guys who I haven't spoken to in weeks, I'm not trying to cut you off, and I'm not doing it intentionally. Okay, as I said, I start moving around between 6 and 6:30 every morning, and then I'm not done landscaping till 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and it's all I can do to feel like I can get enough food, wash the tree bark, shrapnel, and flowers out of my hair, and get in sleep, get into bed and relax, so that I can do it all over again. So don't take it personal that I have disappeared. I've started doing consulting and landscape designing, and it ended up being way more prosperous and way more entertaining and way more um, everything than I imagined. So I have been incredibly, incredibly busy and working very diligently to stay balanced and to keep up with the quiet time and keep up with the yoga and the hula hooping and all of that stuff. I've mentioned this before, but anything that you can do, any kind of exercise that moves the center of your body, because this centrifugal force is very, very much within us. Think about as I always tell you, the suns or central suns or all of that solar energy coming in goes to the core of the planet and reverberates back out and causes that motion. Well, the same thing is happening with you. So whatever you can do that moves the center of the body, that's one of the reasons I do the hula hooping. Also, the weather is not always good, and I can't always run and don't always feel like running after landscape. But I just noticed that moving in the center of the body, because when we get the solar here in our core, in our solar plexus, the fastest way to assimilate and release assimilate to the new energy and release the old energy is to move the center or the centrifugal force within your body. Hence, for me, the hula hooping, and pretty soon it's going to be a rowing machine um, as well. Move your body. Be careful. Be careful about. I mean, just because the energy is strong, and even people that know better, you can only take so much agitation. Okay. I had someone lay into me on Thursday night. I had some massive unpleasantness. And Friday, the neighbor was laying into me about something. And by Saturday, it happened again, another job. And so I almost felt the need to push back, right? And I decided the better way to deal with it was to walk away or only respond to people when they weren't bitching or complaining, because I don't want to match their energy, send that back out, and cause further agitation. Because people right now, not everyone, a small part of the population is more agitated than I have ever seen them. And the last thing that I'm going to say is, you know what feels good in your heart, okay? Don't get stuck in your thoughts. What's right? How's this going to work? How am I going to have money? How am I going to do this? How am I going to move? How am I going to, deal with these situations? How am I going to end this? How am I going to quit my job? And worry, 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 worry. Our journey is by following our heart. It's a heart journey. It's a soul journey. It's not a thought journey. Okay. So when you've decided to change people, places, things in your life, right? Choose with the heart. And when you need to make a plan, you invite the mind to show up and help you with writing that down on paper or putting that in computer, or however you work for you. Okay. But we have to stop trying to maneuver the journey by thinking, what if this person doesn't like me? What if this job doesn't work out? What if I don't find a place to live before my lease is up? Thoughts, 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 thoughts. And thoughts are not what moves us. There's your honk for confirmation. Thoughts are not what moves us along the path of this journey. It's heart centered. Where am I going? What am I interested in? What am I feeling right here that I can't live without? What are the people, places, and things that I just can't see myself living without? Once you have made that judgment, that decision, that's when you allow the thought process to come in and say, okay, Tina, okay, Susan, how do we make this plan on paper? How do we logistically make our heart-centered journey come true in physical reality? But we have a whole lot of thoughts. Thoughts are not pushing us. This giant wall, this quaking, this universal or omniversal warp speed flood of energy is so that you can make a decision with your heart, use your mind to plan logistically. We're not planning logistically. Well, how would I make this work? Well, how would I do that? How would I, get to Australia? Or, how would I get to Mount Shasta or whatever? No. Decide with your heart what is beautiful on this journey that I have to have, that I can't live without. That's the first step, because so many people are caught up in their thoughts. And if you are a person like me that can hear the collective consciousness within the different waves, you'll know that there's so many people that want change, and they're sitting around stuck in their own self-imposed prison of the mind, trying to work out in the mind what it is they need to do. Heart makes the decision to take a journey of love for self and for others, for relationship, for mission. Heart makes a choice to follow a journey. And when we have made that choice, that decision, and we've decided what our judgment is about what is success and what is happiness and what is love and what is bliss for me, then you get out the paper and plan the logistics. Then you get in your head and work out the thoughts, the logistics, the planning, how you're going to do it. But there's a huge amount of people with a huge awareness. Lots of us on the first wave doing this, sitting around trying to maneuver this spiritual journey with our thoughts. And our thoughts will never create anything but anxiety and more stuck energy in this energy, okay? Be the queen and king of your own reality. You know what makes your heart sing? You know what makes your joy box go off, okay? That's where your plan should be instead of sitting around thinking, how would I ever make this work? How would I have the money? How would I have the time? How would I have the resources? How could I deal with the pushback? Make a decision and then let your thoughts logistically help you plan it. There's a lot of people thinking they can work out within their thoughts, right? But it doesn't work that way. This is an incredible spiritual journey, right? And we have many warriors, okay? And sometimes this is tiring and it's a little bit too much. But if it's becoming so tiring that you're overwhelmed and have a whole lot of anxiety, you need to get out of the thoughts, out of the mental prison, and drop into your heart space and say, what makes me happy? Your answer. And then start planning your happiness. Okay? Unfortunately, when you have an energetic wall like this, and we've had these before, never have I seen, heard, or felt anything that I've ever described like this that was this big. So, whatever you're stuck in your thoughts about wanting to do on this spiritual journey of being heart centered, this energy is pushing you to do that. Now, that's amazing. That's an absolutely incredible gift. The downside is if you know what you're wanting and you're not going after it, the changes that come from this energy can be disruptive, okay? Pushing you into doing things. Um, so when we make a decision to go on this spiritual journey, to choose love, to choose heart-centered activities in every sector of our life, the universe assists us with backup, with energy, right? With a mirroring of whatever we're putting out, we're getting back for divine intervention, for divine assistance. When we know what we want and stay stuck in mental conflict about doing that thing, that's when the same omniversal energy, that's an incredible, amazing, beautiful gift, can become destructive. And I'm saying that because if it's something that you haven't wanted for a long time, this energy will still be a gift to you, but it'll be a gift that has something happen very quick and very unexpected. This energy is bringing the unexpected. That was the last video. So, this divine intervention, this energetic wall is saying to you, this is an incredible time to let go of trying to work it out in your mind and following it is what you want. Make that decision in your heart. And I am telling you that little things are going to start happening, and I'm sure they already have been, if you're not listening to what your soul really wants. The first wave of conscious expansion, the first wave of ascension right now, has been anchoring in the higher self in the body on and off for the past 10 years. Most of us very strongly and very assuredly in the last 3 years. We are to the point now, many of us on the first wave, that we've fully integrated higher self. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm using higher self every second of the day. That means the soul in the higher self is no longer having to travel a great distance to be the relay system because it's in here right now. It's beautiful and it's amazing. Your own higher self will orchestrate the things to crumble that you do not allow to crumble, but that you want to crumble. And maybe you've been praying for that. Maybe you've been praying for a what they call in tarot a tower moment. Okay. Have an amazing holiday. This is amazing. I've managed to make this video under an hour, only by a couple seconds. I love you very much. Thank you for being here at this amazing time. You're an incredible warrior. Don't give up. Um, if you're looking for intuitive or tarot readings, I'm still open, but and most of you are on totally different parts of the world, so totally different time spots. But I'm doing that after um, after I'm doing landscaping and gardening. If that's something you want, you can schedule with me anytime you want. If you're looking for, and I've been running this special, I think for the last 4 months, a a $50 reading, intuitive tarot reading right now, where I don't do any prior preparation, write anything down, do any of that crazy extra work, where you and I just get on, ask questions, do answers, see where it leads, ask questions, do more answers, that kind of thing. That has been a permanent special for $50 for an hour, and that's been going on for the last several months. That is still going on, and honestly, with everything that's going on with me, that is the way I prefer to do it as well. All the other readings and offerings are still posted at the top of my Facebook page, but those impromptu readings can be done with very little notice. The other ones will need a lot more notice at this point. So I love you. Thank you for being here, and I'll talk to you later. Have a great holiday weekend. Bye, guys.